Buongiorno, everybody. It's a beautiful day today. Finally, we've had some serious rain the past few days. It was so gloomy, I was starting to get like, oh, yuck. You know, a new watcher, a new follower, friend now, of course I consider you guys all friends, messaged me and said, can I send you something? And I'm like, sure, And he carves these wooden spoons. So Andy D's Woodworking. I don't even know if he's got a Facebook page. Maybe I think he does, but if not, believe me, he's in the middle of moving. But once he gets making these again, I have a feeling we're going to offer them because this thing is beautiful. So he sent me this beautiful spoon. It's really cool, and it's going to be perfect for what we're making today because today we're making risotto. And we've made risotto before. It's just another recipe. But today's going to be a zucchini risotto. We are getting ready to get into spring. And then after spring comes summer, and you should have these things in the back of your head. You need a whole zucchini cookbook, because zucchini is one of those things you grow in your garden that just, when it starts growing, boy, you got zucchini coming out your ears. So this is just another way to use zucchini. Plus it's a staple in any Italian household, and it's a good green vegetable, so it's healthy for everybody. So this is what we're going to do. So we're going to start with our hot pan. Vegetable broth is over there already warmed up. I'm going to move my spoon over, keep it away from the flame. It's beautiful. It's made out of cherry wood. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Oh, anyway, okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to saute some onions. So while the pan's warming up there, oops, get that out of my other spices there. Now this was a really large onion that I used half of already. You want to have maybe, 80 grams. Guess what happened to me today? My scale broke, so now I got to get a new scale. I went and I thought it was the batteries. I tried 3 sets of brand new batteries, and but it was kind of corroded on. I guess I've just used it. I've had that thing, since I had my restaurant. So I've had it about, 8 years, 7, 8 years. So that was pretty good. I think it was a good long run for a $9.99 scale. So anyway, all right, I'm just gonna dice up some onion. Want it kind of small because I want it to kind of blend in. Can't weigh it, but I'm gonna, I know how to guesstimate. But if you want to weigh it, or I would say 1 small onion, a little more than half of a medium onion, half of a large onion. This is kind of a largish onion, so I'm gonna go a little less than half there. But really, give or take a couple tablespoons, it's no make a difference. Okay, I'm gonna start with a little bit of nice extra virgin olive oil because I'm not gonna let this get too hot. We're just gonna coat the bottom. Turn this down to lower. Okay, oh, look at that. It's so flat on the side that it's gonna be perfect it's gonna be known as my risotto spoon. Okay, so let's get some onion in here. Actually, that's probably enough. So I'm going to take this out. I'm going to save the rest of this chopped onion. I think I went a little overboard. That's okay. I'm going to put it in a little baggie. I'll use it tonight for dinner. Okay. Oh, I just love the smell of cooked onions. Or cooking onions, sauteing onions. Now, I like making things vegetarian, and sometimes with meat. I'm a mix-it-up kind of person. This is a zucchini risotto that you can leave completely like this. Today I'm feeling it. I'm feeling a little bit of wanting a little meat flavor, little but I also like to add texture. So what I'm going to do, and this is not part of the official main recipe. This is an option. I keep these little things of pancetta. And this is really the way most people in the world have meat. A little bit here, a little bit there. So I have this little teeny frying pan here. My little teeny baby cast iron. Isn't it cute? I don't know if you can see it there. Yeah, you can. I'm just going to put a little bit of this in there and fry it up. Let's see. This was frozen. I just took it out a little while ago, so there we go. I don't want to do too much. It's about 1/3 of this pack. I'm going to put that back in my freezer after I bag it up. So now, I'm just gonna let that heat up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let it, I like crispy pancetta. So I'm not gonna mix it in with the risotto. You can, of course, I could cook that in with the onions and let it get crispy, but honestly, then it, you know, eventually kind of soggy-fies a little bit. I don't like that. I like it crispy. Just like I don't like bacon on a sandwich. Give me the sandwich. If it comes with bacon, put it on the side. I'll eat the bacon by itself because it's just pure. Yum, crisp. Okay, so we have our onions are already getting a little bit translucent, as you may or may not be able to see. I'm gonna give them about 1 more minute. And what I'm gonna do is, in just a minute, I'm gonna add the rice and we're gonna toss it around here with the onions and the oil. Make sure that it starts to toast up a little bit. So, got this up pretty good here. I don't have too much oil. These are starting to get a little golden. So now I wanna put my rice in because I don't want them to get too golden. Okay, so that was approximately, because I don't have my scale, so I did my, you know, and just like anybody else, just like me, you guys can go on your phone or the internet or whatever, or your little thing in your cookbooks that has, measurement conversions in the front, and figure out that that was approximately, let's see, 320 grams. It was like 3.5 cups, okay? In general, when you're making risotto, if it's your entree, then you want about, what is it, like 1/3 to 1/2 cup per person. If it's like a first course, then you want about 1/4 to 1/3 cup per person, depending on what else you're making. So if you're making a big second course, then just put 1/4 cup per person. And then of course, if you got like 6 or 8 people, you always throw in that extra 1/2 cup, just because there's always some guy that still wants more risotto, like the husband. Pasquale loves risotto. It doesn't matter what kind it is. Okay. So I'm just turning these around in here, making sure that they all get kind of in the oil. You know, it's not really a lot of oil, but it's oiling them a little bit, and it gives them something to crisp up. Now, my little pancetta here, very quickly, is toasting. I just want to make sure that they get all browned, but not burnt. Little pancetta pizza with a little fat in them. Sometimes it just goes, bloop, they kind of popcorn a little bit. They're pretty fun. Those are the things that make me laugh in the kitchen. You gotta find enjoyment in everything you do, you know? So, we're gonna let that brown again on the other side. Now, I have vegetable broth over here, about 1 liter, but because I put just a little bit, so for your 320 grams of rice, you'd put about 1 liter of broth. I got a little bit more, probably about 1/3 to 1/2 cup more, because we're probably going to use the leftovers for tonight as our little teeny bit of starch with our protein dinner. So, because you could eat risotto all day. All right, those little pancettas are done. I'm just going to, here I'm popping. So they're just beautifully golden red. I'm going to let them sit in there, but I'm going to move it so that it's, even though this is not like an electric stove that stays hot, you know, there's still some heat over there, so. All right, ooh, this is looking good. So once these start to get a little bit of color to them, that's when we're gonna start adding our liquid. So we're gonna add, 100 grams or so, which is, whatever, wine. We're just gonna do this. But I'll tell you, it's probably like a glass of wine that you would drink. So we're just gonna, you hear that? Now, I'm not gonna stir this constantly here because that helps it evaporate. What I want it to do is kind of just really soak in to all the kernels. Every little piece of rice is going to get some of that wine flavor, because that is yummy. But you always want to put your wine in at the beginning, because you want to cook the wine, you want to cook the alcohol flavor off. All right, now comes all the good stuff. So what we're gonna do here first is we're gonna start adding some of the broth. Oh, look at that. It has pretty much soaked up already all of the wine. You know, tutto il vino. And now we're gonna start adding the broth. So I'm just going to, now my warm broth, and you want warm broth because it really soaks in better. You know, if you've got it cold, it's kind of sitting there, you got to reheat it every time. So having warm broth, actually, you know, people complain that risotto takes a long time to cook, but in fact, you can make it take less time. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to just give this a quick one stir, you know, let it sit there and let it sit and soak up that beautiful broth now a little bit. Now, in the meantime, while that's brothing, we are going to shred our zucchini very quickly. Now, the reason I chose to do this today, because this zucchini had an ugly spot on it. So I'm just gonna cut that baby off. And the rest of it was good. This one here also had a little ugly culo, a little ugly rear end there. And it's still beautiful on the inside. But you know, as soon as they start to go, then they start to go. These are already washed, and I'm going to use approximately 350 grams of zucchini. Honestly, this big one's probably enough, but I'm gonna do something else, I think. Being a little creative here, I may add that in a different way. Maybe some chunks in there, you know? So we're gonna grate this. Now, this is a, you know, your typical mozzarella grater side. My box grater here has actually another side that's bigger, so I'm actually gonna do some of each. So it's like two different sizes. So they'll end up with, you know, they'll probably both end up cooking all the way through, but you know, the big ones sometimes end up with a smidge more texture. So do some of this one again. Okay, wait, time to add a little more, add a little stir. All right, it's not fully soaked in yet, but it's almost. Boy, that smells good already, and it really only has onions and broth, you know? Oh, that's right, the vino. Vino always makes everything taste better. Okay, so that's soaking up, and we are grating away. I'm telling you, get a scale. That's my tip for the day. Get a scale, because kitchen scales, you know, $10 on Amazon. You don't, it doesn't need to be a big expensive one. Although, you know what I'm really dreaming of? I remember my grandmother in Italy, who we used to call Mamma Grazia. She was actually my step-grandmother, but we never considered her that. She was the one grandmother I knew. I'm named after both my father's mothers, his birth mother and Mamma Grazia. So, you know, I don't know how many of you all know that Dorina is not my real name. Dorina's my nickname. Yeah, I know, right? Who'd have thunk? But my full name is Teodora, and little Dora is Dorina. So I'm still little Teodora. But it's me, you know? So anyway, my name is Teodora Grazia. Is that a mouthful for like when you're in second grade and the teacher's, you know, trying to pronounce your name and you're like, that's me. Yeah, and so people wonder why I was a painfully shy child. Growing up in Bethesda, Maryland, where all my friends were, their last names were Murphy and Mackenzie and another Mackenzie and Riley and O'Reilly, and you know, so I was kind of, you know, it was me and my friend Carmelina. We were the two paisans together, just us two with our long brown braids. Oh, all right, we're almost there. You know, when you're, you know, stupid little trick, when you're grating things, especially like something like this, if you keep going down the same way, you're making ridges that don't end up getting, if you just turn your hand just a little bit so that you're putting the new bumps up, it grates better and faster. I know it's a corny little thing, but it works. Actually, that's plenty. So I'd say one large zucchini is probably what you need for about, you know, 3 people. So I think I'm making approximately 3.5 people's worth of stuff. Okay, wasn't that beautiful? It's such, you know, zucchini when it's grated, such a pretty color. It's like such a, I don't know, pungent, vibrant kind of green. All right, this round is almost soaked in. We're gonna put in some more. And when we get to about the halfway mark, because we don't want to overcook the zucchini, but we do want it to cook a little bit, but we want it to stay not totally mushy. So when we get to, like, I'd say just beyond the halfway mark here. So we're almost there, because I can see that the grains of rice are already, they're very glistening. You can see they're kind of puffing a little bit. So I'm gonna wait till this one gets mostly soaked. I still have, a little less, just under half a pot left of the broth. And this will soak that all up, but I'm gonna throw the zucchini in then. This is very different than the last one I made, which was, I think I made a sausage and mushroom risotto, and that has a whole completely different flavor profile, really. But it's still a risotto, and it's still just, all of them are heavenly. If anybody ever comes with me on one of my Italy trips, and I don't know how many of you know that I take people on trips to Italy, but there's this little restaurant on the beach that I take people to, and they make this seafood risotto that is, like, I never thought I don't usually like, when I'm here, I don't like much seafood like with my pasta. I like my seafood separate and enjoy it the way it is. It's got to be super fresh, of course. But this stuff, boy, they make this seafood risotto, and it is to die for. It is so good. They make this seafood broth that they cook it in, and oh, it is heavenly. Like, I can't even begin to tell you how good it is. Ooh. Oh yeah. Making risotto with my zucchini. Okay. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the zucchini in. Really, truly, you can't have too much of the vegetable. This is all going to cook down. It's going to taste so good. All right, I'm mixing this all in here a little bit. Now it's time for some broth. Some more brodo. That's how you say broth in Italian. Brodo, B-R-O-D-O. I figure, every now and then I'll throw you a word and you can learn a little bit. So when you see a recipe in Italian, you're like, I know what that means. And then you're going to hit the translator anyway, but Okay. Now you notice that I haven't added any salt and pepper yet. I kind of wait till I'm at this point because I don't want it to get too, broken down in there. So I'm going to start with just a pinch of salt, and then afterwards I'm going to taste it, a little black pepper, because I like black pepper a little more. There we go. Just going to stir this in, because my broth is no salt in it. That looks good. It's so pretty, because look at, I don't know if you can see it, but it's so, I can't do it too much or it'll all go sliding out, but it's just such a pretty color, and you can see that it almost looks like the rice is getting that tint also. So I got 2 rice grains right here in front of me, but they're clean. Salud. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this zucchini while I'm waiting for that. Now this is what we do. See, some people are like, oh, it's so boring to cook. Oh, I got to sit there and stir the risotto for 20 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. There's always something else to do. So I'm going to make some little teeny weeny cubes. Now I'm getting that thing nice and hot. Ooh, I just got even a better idea. So hold on. I'm making this up as we go here. I'm cutting up some little pieces of zucchini. Now I'm going to make them into little teeny cubes. And you can always find cool ways to make something extra. You can, now I could put these little zucchini cubes right in the risotto and give it some little chunks, which I probably will do some of that. Just because I'm telling you about it, so we'll do that. Wow, this is really soaking up nice. Now, you have to realize also, I put in the same amount of broth that I've been putting in, and it's, you know, it's cooking away. But also, the zucchini has water in it. So this kind of added to this round, the contest round of making zucchini risotto. But the zucchini has water in it too. So, you know, that's kind of coming out of it now. So it's adding to the liquid, which is fine because it's just that zucchini flavor now is soaking into the risotto. So now that my little pan is cooking up, let me take just a little regular olive oil, throw it in there. Just a little bit. Now I'm going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work, but let's see. I'm going to take a little bit of cheese and put it in this little cup. Let me see if just plain, if the cheese will stick to them. Seems like. So you know what I'm going to do once that gets nice and hot. Oh yeah, that's working. Woohoo! I think it will. I'm going to just kind of fry up a couple little pieces of cheesy zucchini. Doesn't that sound cool? It's kind of like just, you know, an idea. I'm waiting for it to get nice and hot though. Now this time in that pan, it had a little bit of the pancetta fat, which, because I didn't put any grease in there before, or oil. And I just put in a little regular olive oil, not the extra virgin, so that it'll, you know, I can get it a little hotter to make it almost frying. Let's see here. Let's see how a couple of them. Oh yeah, hear the little sizzle? So I'm just gonna, so basically what I'm doing is I'm making tasty garnishes. Try not to get a whole spoonful of cheese here. I'm just trying to take out the little cubes that I kind of have a little bit of cheese on them. Let's try a little more then, because this is kind of fun. You know, I guess you could make bigger ones. You could egg them and fry them if you wanted, or egg and cheese. But, you know, this is just a little something. We're going to see how they come out. We're having fun. And if you can just learn how to have fun in the kitchen with you and your family, coming to the table is that much more exciting because you're like, okay, let's see how it came out. Okay. See, you know, some online or TV chefs has everything all prepared, but you know what? I'm all here excited to just experiment with you guys, and I'll let you know how it comes out. Because you know what I really want you guys to know is that there's no right or wrong way. There's my way, your way. However, you know, I can teach you something, but I'm hoping that I just give you more than recipes. I hope I give you ideas. Okay. Now, purposely brought a couple of these spoons out. Let's see. I can tell this is still al dente, but let me see how al dente it is. Oh, not that al dente, just enough. Let's see here. All right, I'm gonna, oh my goodness. So the bottom sides with the cheese on them are turning a little brown. That might be a fun little garnish. I don't know how crispy it'll be. I think if I deep fried them, they would come out more crispy. But you know, I think it'll still taste good on top. So we're gonna have, when we're done, we're gonna garnish this with some of those little chunks of zucchini and some of these little pieces of pancetta that are all crispy. Let me tell you, it's gonna be good. That I can tell you the flavor is gonna be good. Now, if it says these are as crispy as I want them to be, I don't know, we'll see. But we're almost done here already. I can't believe it. It's cooked up. But now today, okay, so last time I made risotto, you know, there's a couple different kinds of rice to use. There's the arborio, which is the more common one that you'll more easily find on your grocery store shelves. And there's the carnaroli. Well, today I use the arborio because that's what I had. I always keep whatever I can get my hands on. I get it. If I see it, I grab it so I can have it in the back of my pantry for whenever I want it. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more. We're almost to the bottom of this. I bet you by the time we're done with the broth, we've got just a couple more scoops, and then this will be completely ready. Now the last two ingredients that we're gonna add, once we get to the point where it's all soaked up, just before it's completely 100% cooked up, we're gonna add in some butter and we're gonna add in some Parmesan cheese. Because Parmesan cheese, if you say Parmesan cheese, Parmigiano, you always have to have a sip of wine because they kind of like, you know, go together. Sniff the cheese, drink of the wine. Oh, it's gone. It's good enough for my cooking time. Okay, let's see how these babies are doing. I'm just gonna take some of these out here. You know, just for the heck of it, I'm gonna do a couple more. Just because it's there, while I'm waiting for this to cook up. I'm just gonna put another little handful in, because I have a feeling, let's see, this one's stuck because of the cheese. Oh, that's a fun little topping. All right, so let's stir these babies up. Again, they're not perfect, but you know what? They're fun. So, if you're on today, tell me what your favorite zucchini dish is. There's 7 million of them, but give me some thoughts on what your favorite zucchini dishes are. If there's a zucchini dish that you want to learn how to make, put that in here too. I want to learn how to make this. Because I will try to teach it to you. Or we'll learn it together. But I don't know, I've made a lot of zucchini dishes. I'm looking forward to this spring when the zucchini flowers, if I can find some around here, I'm going to see if my plants are, I'm going to start planting some seeds in the very near future. I am going to plant some of my herbs even sooner, just to have some inside in pots. Okay, let's do another taste. Oh, yeah. All right, one of the things I can tell you is it definitely needs more salt, but, okay, I'm turning that off. So we're going to finish up there. This needs more salt. I can taste I put a little teeny bit in, but I'm not going to add any more salt until I've added the cheese, because that's going to make a huge difference. So always be careful adding extra salt if you haven't added your cheese yet. And sometimes in any dish, when you take it to the table, it may be slightly undersalted, but if you have some good Romano or Parmesan cheese that you're planning on being part of the dish and you know that everybody's going to use it, then, you know, explain that, say that, whatever, and count on that being the last pinch of salt that it's going to need. Because if you salt it till it's just right, then you add the cheese, overkill. It's too much. You know, I'm not sure if I'm going to end up using all of this. I'm going to put one more scoop in, just because I like my risotto just one hair al dente. I don't like it too, I mean, I like it any way you make it, but I prefer it this way. Little teeny bit al dente. All right. So very quickly, I'm going to take my little pieces of zucchini crispies that are like sort of crispy, sort of not, but definitely tasty. And then there's little pieces of kind of that, like I said, that little bit of fried cheese in there that may end up being the best part of the garnish. Okay, so I've got my two garnishes. I think right now, since I cut up some of these, I'm just going to throw these last little cubetti, little cubes, into the risotto. Because, you know, give it some more color and texture. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. I think I'm going to throw this, you know, I'm going to use this up. See, this is how we do it, baby. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So, just going to cut this into some pieces. Cut some lengthwise. And some little cubies. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these in. Because you know what? These last couple minutes will make these just a little bit. Again, I love texture. I like soft, I like crunchy, I like, you know, pieces and... Okay, this is pretty close to the end here. I probably could have put those zucchinis in like 2 minutes ago, but it's okay. And actually, I think this last is soaking up. Once it gets softer at the end, it definitely soaks up more faster. It seems like not, but you know, in the beginning, the rice is hard, so it takes a bit to break down the starches and the hard crust exterior, whatever you want to call it, and you know, get it to soak things up. But once it starts to soften, then it just really, they're more spongy and it soaks up more stuff. All right, we're gonna a little lower now, and the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, so this is about 50 grams, so it's like 2 tablespoons of butter, approximately. Well, no, I shouldn't say 2 tablespoons, because it's kind of like, let's see, 50 grams, a stick of butter is 113 grams, so it's under, so it's probably like 3 tablespoons. Sorry about that. So we're gonna get that in here to get some of the creamy factor going. Now, you can make a risotto without butter. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can. You can also use some vegan butter if you want to, if you're, you know, trying to do that kind of crazy thing, but you know. You need something to make, oh, look at how creamy this is getting. All right, and last but not least, it would be, in theory, about 70 grams. I have no idea how, you know, my scale's broken, so I'm just gonna go, whoop. You know, I would say that's about half, or maybe half, 3/4 of a cup or so, you know, good enough for me. I don't think you can really, I mean, unless I poured like an entire full jar of that in, I don't think you can really overdo it. Give or take a half a cup or so, maybe, you know, it's gonna be bella nice and nice, as we say. Okay, oh my goodness. So now, I haven't retested it for salt yet, but we're gonna do that now. Look at how pretty this is. Now it's still kind of wet, but this is going to soak. So I can do 2 things. I can just keep cooking this a little bit longer until it dries out a little bit more and soaks up more. Or I can put a lid on it and let it sit for 5 or 10 minutes. But I'm going to show you what my beautiful dish is going to look like. So I'm going to let that cook 1 second. So I've got my little zucchini toppers and I've got my little risotto. Now, one of the things I'm going to do is I have a little bit of parsley and a little bit of mint. Mint and zucchini, believe it or not, they use that a lot in Italy. So I'm gonna throw a little bit of the mint in that I already chopped up. Just a little, you know, a little hint. It's probably a teaspoon's worth if I smushed it all down. So just a little mint. You can put those in at the very end. I like to mix them in. And then I've got some parsley here that I'm also going to save for the little bit late, in another minute or 2. All right, I'm just going to chop up my parsley. A little parsley. All right, I think this is, oh, beautiful. Now, of course, remember one thing too, is that everybody likes their risotto different. Some people like it more wet, and some people like it more dry. As you make this and you put it in your dish, even in the minute or 2 until it gets to the table, it's going to dry out even more. This is already. All right, so one last test taste of it. Because I know it's cooked enough, but I'm checking now for salt. It doesn't need more salt because I put the cheese in it. Now that last test taste, it definitely needed some more saltiness to it, but the cheese added just what it needed, so I do not need to add more salt. So always be careful when you're adding salt. Don't do it too soon. because sometimes you don't need it. All right, I'm going to put this in a beautiful bowl. These bigger pieces of zucchini, I can tell, have softened up. They're glistening, but they still have their shape, which means they're going to be little pieces of texture and flavor. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Okay, so there's actually like literally one half a ladle full of broth in there. But you know what? I'm going to put it in a little jar, stick it in the fridge, because like if there's leftovers and it gets dried out a little, I'll just warm it up with that extra little broth. All right. Okay, so I've got this beautiful dish of risotto. I'm going to throw in, actually I'm going to throw a little parsley on top. I'm going to throw a little bit of this crispy pieces of zucchini on top. Oh my God, it's so pretty. And some of this pancetta on top. So no pancetta on the inside, none of the fat and grease on the inside, just these little bites that you'll get a little flavor, and you know, you're still keeping it. Look at how pretty this is. I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'll post it. But this is today's lunch in our house. Lunch/dinner, because we eat our big meal mezzogiorno, which means midday, which is noon-ish. It'll be more like 1 o'clock, but you know, well, no, it won't. It's gonna be sooner. Anyway, please try this. It's so good. Risotto is not something to be scared of. So many people say to me, oh my gosh, risotto, it takes so long and it takes so this and that. We started, you know, late today and we're done already. Of course, I was taking my time explaining, but it really doesn't take that long, and it is so yummy and it's so refreshing and hearty, depending what you put in it. The mint in here adds a nice little mint and zucchini. In my village of Roseto, they use a lot sometimes when they pickle the zucchini, sometimes when they're making other zucchini dishes, so it's really, really good. But do me a favor too, if you wouldn't mind, please share my page, my Facebook page, my Instagram, my YouTube channel. If you wouldn't mind sharing it all on your social media, help me get some new followers and some new subscribers, I would so appreciate it. You know, I love doing this. I love sharing my kitchen with you guys. I love sharing my recipes. I love sharing my experiences of being a mom for 30 years and having 6 of them. So I learned a little bit, you know. And one of these days we're going to get on and we're going to just have a talk about youth sports and soccer, because that's my other passion. And, you know, the people who really know me up close and personal know that I played soccer until college, and then I coached I've been coaching since high school. You know, taking a little bit of time off now. I do some consulting and some, you know, training here and there, but right now my mission is to get people to the table, and then we can talk about soccer at the table. Oh, there you go. Soccer is life, but so is food. So, you know, the only things I do are soccer, food, and art. I paint, I do some other random things, but you know, all things Italian, right? Who plays soccer better than the Italians? Who cooks better than the Italians? Who creates, you know, we're crazy artists that make the world beautiful. So anyway, but at the same time, all the rest of you who aren't Italian who follow me, I still appreciate all of you guys, and I hope I'm teaching you some dishes that you will bring to your family table. So, mwah, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.